What's going on, everyone? Great Talon here, and today the prey is going to be my superwiloo review. So I was curious as a cat here, and since this one was on sale on the Switch eShop for a measly $3 and change, I said, why the heck not? Its normal price was actually $4, so... which, to be quite honest, there are much worse games you can find on Steam, or even the bowels of Steam or GOG, their libraries like that go unchecked than this little charming game I found here. So superwilodemake is pretty much baby's first platforming adventure, and that's just fine by me. Any game that wants to introduce the youth out there to the concept of platforming classics like Super Mario Brothers is just fine and dandy by me. As simple as superwilodemake is, it can be a hit or miss for adults out there who are seeking more of a challenge, I feel, but nevertheless, it's also not without a small share of minor issues, but nevertheless, it's definitely familiar in all the senses. So let's find out what this game is exactly and it's all about, and besides being a tutorial for toddlers or preschoolers on how to play side-scrolling and platforming games. The graphics and performance are up as always as first. The visual style in superwilodemake is presented in that of a vintage 8-bit retro style with the simplisticness of the simple sprites that look like they were hand-drawn and colored with crayons or markers, if I'm being quite honest, which is not necessarily a bad thing, considering this game was made by about 3 or 4 people and cost less than a 5-piece. Per pop. So the color schemes and palettes are diversified enough, though, throughout the game's 5 world that range from green to tan forest levels to light baby blue water worlds to even rocky, reddish, brown mountainous regions. The character models are as plain as they come, and the enemies alike are rather shaped a little, they're either oddly shaped or colored differently to indicate which movement pattern they will make. And Wiloo herself was sporting a bandana and little, in her handkerchief or whatever, and appears short and stumpy as the rest of the characters do in the game. In regards to performance, the download size was under 200 megabytes, so there's not much really going on here happening on screen to merit much slowdown, lag, or frame dips. Found myself not having any performance issues with this game. This is a rather vanilla game, nor would I expect to with something so basic and simplistic. In regards to the gameplay and control, superwilodemake consists of a very easy platforming 2D-like structure, similar immediately to Super Mario Brothers in almost every sense. You navigate Wiloo through levels within each of the 5 worlds in the game, from left to right to reach the end of the level while jumping around like a bunny, or a rabbit, or a hare, or a jackrabbit, to reaching new heights, platforming, while obtaining small power-ups which will help you, in your traversal and or taking down enemies. There's 4 suit power-ups in the game that Wiloo can find and use. A beast suit, which enables the power of flight, and you can also obtain automatically if you die too many times in a row if you're playing on easy difficulty. Normal, you have infinite lives, but no beast suit to help you navigate more easily if you die too many times. And there's hard mode, which you run out of lives and the game's over. That's for the not for the faint of heart, though. But anyway, you also get a turtle suit, which allows you to easier traversal and navigation through the water. Unicorn suit, which allows you to fire projectiles at enemies like fireballs with Super Mario Brothers and their flower upgrade. You also get another type of suit that I had on screen now. It's like a weird thing. I think it's a bee or something that allows you to projectile or ram into enemies on a diagonal plane. But anyway, Wiloo's also equipped with a double jump technique from the start, which is nice and does come in handy in the more trickier platforming segments in the latter half of the game, especially in the final world. Enemies can be taken out by simply stomping on their heads or by shooting them with your unicorn power-up, like I said, similar to using Mario's fireball power in Super Mario Brothers. At the end of each world, there's a final boss, but the honest to goodness, they are so damn easy to defeat. I mean, to be real here, folks, I wouldn't even call them a boss. The only boss, they're so easy. The only boss that is remotely challenging is the final boss in the final world, because you really don't know how to damage him right away until about halfway into the fight. Remember, guys and girls, this is a game aimed at children as its target audience, so don't expect much of a challenge at all in this game's entirety. The most challenging parts are dealing with some rather oddly placed jumps, or rather that might hinder your traversal, which I felt were either they were just there to add in some type of challenge, or were just tad poorly designed by the developers, since the majority of the game felt like it was just the same in terms of depth and scale for the most part, except for the water world and the final world, where they try to change up the structures and the patterns a little bit to lessen the monotony and repetition, which can be felt a little too often in this game, is one of its flaws that I would like. But with an introductory to platforming title like Super Wiloo here, I really can't put many at my expectations high on the list. It's playable for the most part, even with a little bit of bland level design here and there and a tad uneven controls, which we're about to discuss now. The controls are normally fine until you get to the ice levels, or when there's bad weather happening on screen, like rain. When it's raining in the game, Wiloo slides around, and even the slightest movement is like she's wearing ice skates, and it's a little annoying, I must admit. I found myself purposely dying 3 or 4 times in a row on easy difficulty to spawn into the bee suit and just hover and fly over those rather annoying parts in the game, like the ice levels or the parts where it's raining, levels where there's rain and weather effects. To control your movement by weathering, you just slide all over the map. It's very, very messy. Luckily, you have unlimited lives if you're playing on easy difficulty and normal too, so you can just try over and over again, which never becomes an issue. Now, in regards to the story, narrative, and campaign, I mean, what can I say? You are beset on an epic quest to save your doggo, your pet, from the forces of large animal-like creatures who are in a bad mood and need to be whacked in the head a few times by Wiloo to come to their senses and open up a path forward so you can get closer to rescuing your best friend throughout over the 5 worlds, and which have 10 levels within each world. I mean, it's as simple as that, folks. Okay, now sound and music here. The only sound effects I barely noticed much of anything to remark on is just the, nothing really of note, just besides the sound of enemies just getting plopped on, or the minute sounds of jumping in the background. But the music is on about 2 or 3 whimsical tunes that play in a loop and change every track in every world or every other world you're in to reach the band. I mean, it's a bit catchy. Nothing to really write home about. That's why I didn't record that much to showcase for you guys. It's really the same over and over and over again. But, it was only scored by one person. So, I mean, it's one guy. So it's not, I don't expect anything revolutionary, but it's not as addictive as the scores I've heard in the past from other indie titles like, for example, Shovel Knight or Messenger or anything like that. Are tremendous on that level. But honestly, they get an E for effort for giving it the old-fashioned college try. In regards to replay value next, as charming and basic as superwilodemake is, it's just that. It's simple, it's basic, a little too straightforward for me because I'm a 32-year-old man-child here. But I've been there and done that plenty of times before, which is why after my little 3-hour journey here throughout the 5 worlds, 10 levels in each world, I was ready to move on, never to go back to this. The only thing to go back for is collecting those S symbols you can see in the upper left corner, which are symbol like the Mario coins, big Yoshi coin type things. And all they do is unlock bonus memory game level stages. They really do nothing. They don't add anything tremendous to the experience. Like I said, it's just there to be there. And there's a score in the upper left right-hand corner by collecting coins. There's nothing really amassing there other than just seeing how many coins you can collect. Nothing really is substantial or substantiates there. But if you're under 10 or 8 years of age, I'm sure you may find some replayability here. The overall score, and is it worth your time? Well, superwilodemake is a solid platforming side-scrolling game for beginners to the genre, and I'm going to have to give it a solid score of a 7 out of 10 to be fair. The downsides of it being too easy or simple for adults or those looking for more of a challenge in their platforming games, along with some awkward controls and rather basic level design and enemy designs. But on the bright side, for those of you with small children out there looking to better hone and develop their cognitive hand-to-eye coordination skills and platforming techniques, superwilodemake is a pretty good place to start. So with that being said, that's my review of superwilodemake, a little random on sale item I found on the Switch shop that I'd share with you guys. If you have kids out there or little kids around, brothers, sisters, children, nephews, nieces, anything like that, I would show them this first, besides Super Mario Brothers. And then, this is a great introduction. It's like I said, it's baby's first preschooling tutorial for platformers. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys' support as always. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by.